जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोधनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोधनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र, राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र श्री राधे जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौरानिता 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 श्री श्री गौरानिता 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 श्री श्री गौरानिता जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव। ताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखावितांश्च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So again we welcome everyone for today's Bhakti Shastri class. श्री ईशोपनिषद मंगलाचरण। ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णम् उदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगतां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथा मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनम्। कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि यजीविषेशतं समाह एवं त्वयि नानथेत्वस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे। असूर्य नाम ते लोका अंधेन तमसावृताः तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्महनो जनाः अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयो नयनदेव आप्नुवं पूर्वमर्षत् तद्धावतु अन्यानत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति तदेजति तन्नेजति तद्दूरे तदवन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वास्यस्य बाह्यतः यस्तु सर्वाणि भूतान्य आत्मन्येवानुपश्यति सर्वभूतेषु चात्मानं ततो न विजुगुप्सते। यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतान्य आत्मेव भूद्भिजानतः तत्र को मोहः कः शोकः एकत्वम् अनुपश्यतः। सपर्यगा शुक्रम् अकाय अवर्णम् अश्नावीरं शुद्धमपापविद्धं कविर्मनीषी परिभू स्वयंभूर् याथात्यथतो अर्थान् विदधाश्वाश्वतीभ्यः समाभ्ययः। अंधं तमः प्रविशन्ति ये विद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो यौ विद्ययामृताः अन्यदेवाहुर्विद्यया अन्यदाहुर् अविद्यया इति शुश्रुमधीराणां येनस्तद्विचक्षिरे विद्यां च यस्तद्वेदो भयं सः अविद्यया मृत्युं धृत्वा विद्ययामृतमश्नुते अंधं तमः प्रविशन्ति ये सम्भूतिमुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो यौ सम्भूत्यामृताः अन्यदाहुरसम्भवात् इति शुश्रुमधीराणां येनस्तद्विचक्षिरे सम्भूतिं च विनाशं च यस्तद्वेदो भयं सः विनाशेन मृत्युं धृत्वा सम्भूत्यामृतमश्नुते हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखं तत्त्वं पूषणम् अपावृणु सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये पूषनिकर्षेयं सूर्यप्राजापत्य भूयः रश्मिन् समूहा तेजो यत्ते रूपं कल्याणतमं तत्ते पश्यामि योऽसावसो पुरुषः सोऽहमस्मि वायुरनीलम् अमृतम् अथेदं भस्मान्तं शरीरम् ॐ क्रतो स्मर कृतं स्मर अग्नेनय सुपथाराय यस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् जुहुराणमेणो भूयिष्ठां तेन उक्तिं विधेम ॐ तत्सत्. So, Hare Krishna. So we have done 12th. We have done andham tamah pravishanti ye sambhutim upasate tato bhuya ivate tamo yau sambhutyam vrataha. Those who are engaged in worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of impersonal absolute. So this we saw yesterday. So we have to discuss this, but again we'll recite this sloka. Mantra 13. Anyad evahu sambhavat asambhavat iti shushruma dhiranam yenastad vichachakshire. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. So, 2-3 points we discussed in essence yesterday. One thing is Srila Prabhupada making a point here that if you worship demigods, you will go to the demigod loka. If somebody worships bhutas, pisachas, so they will go to the loka of pisachas or bhutas. So this is given in Bhagavad Gita. And those who worship pitras, they will go to the loka of pitras. And those who worship me, yanti madhyajino apimam. So then they come to me, yanti, they come to me. So Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita. So all paths don't lead to the same goal. So this we were discussing, and Prabhupada gives another practical example also seen in this world, that if you take a train ticket of Delhi to Mumbai, you will not reach Calcutta. Yes, because it's a train of Mumbai and you have taken that ticket. So if you sit in the Mumbai train, you will reach to Mumbai. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada says that it's not that the question is that absolute truth is all pervading, so you worship in any way and you will go to him. It's not like that. But which method absolute truth has assigned for us in the Vedic literature to approach to him, that method we have to accept or adopt. And then to know about that Supreme Lord or Sambhavat, we have to hear from whom? Dhiras. So spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, they are Dhiras. Because they are never disturbed by changes of material world, as you see here written. And also they have heard from undisturbed acharyas. They are gurus, they have heard, and they don't speak anything which is not there in the Vedic literature. They don't concoct anything. These are the qualities of bona fide spiritual master. This we saw Then Prabhupada explaining about the self-made gurus, the spiritual masters. So how they concoct such philosophy and they also become guru. They manufacture their own method of spiritual realization, and they are very puffed up. So these things are there in modern times also. Like India is understood to be the land where there you can produce God, you can produce scholars. And who will check whether he's a god or a scholar? Then Prabhupada says another rascal. So one rascal, he becomes god, and another rascals, they start worshipping him as a god. The Prabhupada used to say like that. So because people did not have clear knowledge from dhiras or bona fide spiritual master, so they have all what they hear from such self-made gurus. So if we hear from such people, or even Mayavadis, so we cannot reach to the ultimate truth. We cannot understand Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is another way to understand that also, that in Bhagavad Gita, I will just show you the verse. ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तां तथैव भजाम्यहम् मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः. So if you see, this sloka has two portions. One portion says that as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So this is what we many times hear in Prabhupada lectures, and we read in purports. Prabhupada many times uses this thing, that ye athamam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamiham. So I will reciprocate according to the degree of surrender of a person. So Krishna says that. This is the first part. Second part, mam vartamanu vartante manushyaha partha sarvasaha. So what does it mean? Everyone follows my path in all respect, O son of Pritha. So Krishna is saying, everyone or everybody is following my path in all respect. So this is the point where Mayavadis or impersonalists, they take this point, and then they say that all path leads to the same goal. It's given in Bhagavad Gita, because mam vartamanu vartante manusya partha sarvasa. But Prabhupada, what he writes, let us read. Everyone is searching for Krishna in different aspect of his manifestation. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahma Jyoti effulgence and as the all-pervading Supreme Super Soul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotee. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realization, and thus anyone and everyone is satisfied according to his one's desire to have him. In transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotee in transcendental attitude, just as the devotees want him. One devotee may want Krishna as Supreme Master, another may want as personal friend, another as his son, and another as his lover. So like this, Prabhupada keeps explaining this. So what does it mean here? That everybody searching for Krishna means they have different level of realization, and then they can approach to Krishna to that much understanding. So Prabhupada here explains about Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. But what to when you discuss about demigod worshipper, where does they fall? Means where does they fall? So then for them, Ishopanishad is saying you have not come to the absolute truth. You have to first come to absolute truth. That is Brahman, then Paramatma, Bhagavan. So, but for others who are in this realm of transcendental goals, like Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, for them, Krishna is only the ultimate goal. But these worshippers or practitioners, they are realizing according to their understanding. Krishna is allowing that also. This is that meaning, that everybody is searching for Krishna. Like even pure devotee can see in any living entity that actually all attraction any living entity has for any material object or material person or anything, it is all just It's attraction for Krishna in perverted form. So in perverted form, we are attracted to the object of this world, but in reality, that all attraction is demanding us attraction towards Krishna. So that is demand, like Govinda Virahename. We sing in Chaitanya Shastri, that Govinda Virahename means when the day will come when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that I see even a moment like a 12 years or more for the want of Govinda. I'm looking for Govinda. I'm not able to approach Govinda, Lord Govinda. Where is Lord Govinda? Where is Lord Govinda? So then this is that Govinda Virahename. So pure devotee, they can see that every living entity is actually searching for Krishna only. But because they have forgotten their relationship, they have misidentified with this body, and they are in this material world, misled by so many leaders and religionists, pseudo-religionists and Mayavadis. So they think that the apparent things in this world which are attractive to them is the goal of their life. And that is illusion. That is the illusion. So again, this verse does not say that whatever you do, you lead to Krishna. Everyone follows my path in all respect. Prabhupada here makes it very clear. So everybody who is on the path, which is going to the spiritual world, like this proper path which Krishna has given, the yoga path. So Krishna is saying in that way everybody is going, if they are following to that, to me. And also if somebody is not following such path and doing something here and there, so they are serving Maya, and Maya is a Shakti of Krishna. So ultimately they are surrendering to Krishna only. They are inside Krishna. Like we just read some mantra before, that everything is inside Supreme and Supreme is inside everything. Yes. So this is Mahabhagavat vision. So they can see that ultimately they are serving directly or indirectly to Krishna only. Correct. But again, if somebody is sick, he is having some disease, so then we cannot say that ultimately he will become cured. Either you take him to doctor or don't take him to doctor, by destiny he will get cured. We cannot say like that, because destiny also involves our endeavor. If we don't endeavor, then the destiny will also not come. We have to at least endeavor to a certain extent. Like somebody, like humans have to earn their livelihood. If human does not work only, it's not that he will automatically become a farmer and automatically the land will come and money will come and the crops will grow and then he will eat nicely and he will enjoy his life. It is not going to happen. Even though it is there in his destiny, he has to be eligible. He has to qualify. Like somebody is a son of a doctor, at least he should be qualified to clear the graduation, or before that even metric, 10th, 12th, and then graduation. Then his father can help him to get into MBBS and get some certificate and help him to become doctor. But he has to also qualify. Yes, so he has to do some endeavor. This is important thing. So Mayavadis, they focus the second part of this sloka very much. Mam vartamanu vartante manusya parsa sarvasa. Anyway, everybody is on my path. But we devotees, many times Prabhupada always uses this one, that ye athamam prapaddante tam satheva bhajameham. As you surrender, so shall I reciprocate. This is, so in this way, all the goals, all the path does not lead to the same goal. Okay. And then Prabhupada started explaining what parampara, how we have to learn it from parampara. And he's reached now establishing the Sambhavat. Sambhavat, Prabhupada says that Sambhavat, in this mantra, Sri Ishopanishad, the word Sambhavat, by the worship of Supreme Cause. So Sambhavat is a cause of all causes. Okay. He is a supreme cause. He is eternal. So now Sambhavat means cause of all causes. So how Krishna is a cause of all causes? So then yesterday we discussed that all this from different Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita also. Aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam pravartate. This all we discussed. How Narayana was before creation. While creation is running, that time is also Narayana, because he and his energies are non-different. And after creation will be annihilated, he will only remain because everything will merge in him. So that also we saw yesterday. Now, we are seeing the third section here. Madhav Seva versus Manav Seva. Kishore Madhaprabhu, can you read?
Madhav Seva versus Manav Seva. 1. Buddhas, by dint of their hearing from undisturbed Acharya with faith and love, understand Lord Krishna to be all in all and thus engage in Madhav Seva. Thus, all Vedic literature confirm that Narayana or Krishna is the cause of all causes. In the Brahma Samhita 5.1, also it is said that the Supreme Lord is Sri Krishna, Govinda, the delighter of every being and primal cause of all the causes. The really learned persons know this from evidence given by the great sages and the Vedas, and thus they decide to worship Lord Krishna as all in all. Such persons are called Buddha or really learned because they worship only Krishna. The conviction that Krishna is all in all is established when one hears the transcendental message from the undisturbed Acharya with faith and love. One who has no faith in or love for Lord Krishna cannot be convinced for the simple truth. Those who are faithless are described in the Bhagavad Gita 9.11 as mudas, fool or asses. It is said that mudas deride the personality of Godhead because they do not have complete knowledge from the undisturbed Acharya. One who is disturbed by the whirlpool of material energy is not qualified to become an Acharya. Before hearing the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was disturbed by the material whirlpool, by his affection for his family, society, and community. Thus, Arjuna wanted to become a philanthropic, non-violent man of the world. But when he became Buddha, by hearing the Vedic knowledge of Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Person, he changed his decision and became a worshipper of Lord Krishna, who had himself arranged the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna worshipped the Lord by fighting with so-called relatives, and in this way, he became a pure devotee of Lord. Such accomplishments are possible only when one worships the real Krishna and not some fabricated Krishna invented by foolish men who are without knowledge of the intricacies of the science of Krishna described in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay. Again, the same point is emphasized. Those who don't hear from the undisturbed personality or acharyas, they only deride Lord Sri Krishna being a human being. Namam duskritano mudha prapadyante naradhama. So that shloka is quoted here. And again, who cannot become acharya? One who is disturbed by whirlpool of material energy. Arjuna was disturbed, and so he needed a guru or acharya who can explain him the real truth, real knowledge, so that he can become undisturbed. So Arjuna worshipped the Lord by fighting with his so-called relatives, and in this way he became a pure devotee of the Lord. This is very, very important. Arjuna is worshipping the Lord by fighting. We should not misunderstand, or we should always remember this thing. How he worshipped the Lord? By fighting with his so-called relatives, and in this way he became a pure devotee of Lord. If Arjuna, he would not have fought, so then he would not have listened to the instruction of the Lord. And what is the ultimate instruction? To surrender unto me. Krishna says, to surrender unto me. So Krishna is saying that you, Arjuna, you should get up and fight to establish dharma. You are a Kshatriya, and don't show cowardice. Don't become cowardice. You should show your valor to fight against all these relatives who are on the side of adharma. And don't become attached at this moment. Already so many years have been passed. We try to not fight all peace moment. We try to have peace and many adjustment with your relatives, but these people are not the same people. They should be finished, they should be vanquished to establish dharma. So this is important. Such accomplishments are possible only when one worships the real Krishna and not the fabricated Krishna invented by fools who are without the knowledge. So as you read Bhagavad Gita, it's in the beginning only, like the discussion between the moralist and devotees. So what is the morality and what is transcendental morality? On morality principle, we should not fight with our relatives. We should consider even all human beings on this earth. We should consider them as our brother and sister, and we should have moral behavior. Don't hurt others. Don't think bad about others. This is moral principles. But Arjuna went to the transcendental morality. principle, where he sacrificed all his relationship just because Krishna was saying to fight. So that will in depth more read in Bhagavad Gita. Yes. Yes, go ahead, Prabhuji. Same. Go ahead. Unable to understand. Kishore Madhapur.
Unable to understand Lord Krishna by the dint of their mental speculation, the half-educated and disturbed spiritual leaders engage in Manav Seva. According to Vedanta Sutra, Sambhuta is the source of birth and sustenance as well as the reservoir that remain after annihilation. Reference Janmadhyasya Yataha, SB 1.1.1. The Srimad Bhagavatam, the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra by the same author, maintains that the source of all emanation is not like a dead stone but abhigna or fully conscious. The primary Lord Sri Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita 7.26 that he is fully conscious of the past, present, and the future, and that no one, including demigods such as Shiva or Brahma, knows him fully. Certainly, half-educated spiritual leaders who are disturbed by the types of material existence cannot know him fully. They try to make some compromise by making the mass of humanity the object of worship. But they do not know that such worship is only a myth because the masses are imperfect. The attempt by these so-called spiritual leaders is something like pouring water on the leaves of tree instead of root. The natural process to pour water on the root, but such disturbed leaders are more attracted to the leaves than the root. Despite their perpetually watering the leaves, however, everything dries up for the want of nourishment.
Go ahead. Yes.
Point number 3, Madhav Seva is real Manav Seva, but pretenders and pseudo incarnations have their own unholy propaganda. Sri Isopanishad advises us to pour water on the root, the source of all germination. Worship of the mass humanity by rendering bodily services, which can never be perfect, is less important than the service of the soul. The soul is the root that generates different type of bodies according to law of karma. To serve human beings by medical aid, social help and educational facilities, while at the same time cutting the throat of poor animals in slaughterhouse is no service at all to the soul, the living being. The living being is perpetually suffering in the different type of bodies from material miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death. The human form of life offers one a chance to get out of this entanglement simply by re-establishing the lost relationship between the living entity and the Supreme Lord. The Lord comes personally to reach this philosophy of surrender unto the Supreme, the Sambhuta. Real service to humanity is rendered when one teaches surrender to the worship of the Supreme Lord with full love and energy. That is the instruction of Sri Ishopanishad in this mantra. The simple way to worship the Supreme Lord in this age of disturbance is to hear and chant.
Okay. Okay, we can just. Yes, we will discuss till this point. The Prabhupada says that Janmadhyashyataha Anvayaditaratas Charthesu Abhigya Swarat. So this is the first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. Abhigya means fully conscious. The Lord is fully conscious. He is not a dead stone. Why Prabhupada is saying this thing? Because people in this world, they think that so many people are suffering. And who is the father, mother of these people? Nobody is helping them. So now we should help. And our help should be separate from the God. No God-centered help, but God is also not able to make a solution for these people's problems. So maybe God is having some other work to do, or is not so powerful because government is very powerful, or God is not so much merciful. So many kind of misconception can be there. So now we should try to help them. So this kind of thought can come even in the mind of young devotees and materialists surely, or atheist people. And even Mayavadis, like yesterday we were discussing that, they say that have a football stadium, grow brinjal instead of tulsi. So basically they are more focused on trying to solve the material problems by material solutions. So they try to solve the material problem by material solutions. And then they think that the more we advance materially, the more we'll be successful, more happy, and people will be free from all kind of scarcity and starvation, and they'll be happy. But this is not. Therefore, Prabhupada mentions Supreme Personality of God is Abhigya. He's fully conscious. What is happening in any corner of this universe, he knows that. Still, he is allowing that to happen. So we have to understand this whole why this is happening, why this is not happening. Many things are achintya, but the principle we should be knowing that it is under the control of the Lord, it is under the knowledge of the Lord, and Lord is all merciful, and we have to do our duty in connection with the Lord, not disconnecting ourselves from the Lord. So Prabhupada says, certainly the half-educated spiritual leader, half-educated, and they tried to make some compromise by making the mass of humanity as the object of worship. Daridra Narayan, they say, same Daridra Narayan Seva, that poor people, in their heart, Narayan is there, and they are now Daridra, so now they have become Daridra Narayan. So Prabhupada used to say, Are Narayan's wife is Lakshmi, how can Narayan become Daridra? There is no such concept like Daridra Narayan. Narayan can never become Daridra. So this is the difference between living entity and the Supreme Lord. Living entity can become Daridra, even though he is a part of Narayan. And why he becomes Daridra? Because he misidentified with the body. He breaks his relationship with the Lord. Therefore, he becomes Daridra. But Lord, he is always Swarat and fully conscious. He is never going to get into illusion anytime. Maya cannot surpass him. So he can never become Daridra. He's the master of and possessor of all the opulences, actually. So yes, so they do not know that such worship is only a myth because masses of the imperfect. They attempt by the so-called spiritual leaders something like pouring water on the leaves of the trees instead of root. So this is again shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. Yatha taror moola nisechanena tirpayanti tat skanda bhujopasatha prane pahara yathendriyanam tatheva sarvarhanam achyutejya. It says that Yatha taror moola nisechanena. You should, when you want to feed any plant or tree, you have to put water in the root of that tree. Moola means root. And by putting water in the mool, all the leaves and branches, they can also get the water. Yes, this is a process of nourishing a plant or tree. In the similar way, the whole universe, they are part and parcel of the Lord. Actually, everything is part and parcel of Lord. Yeah. So when we satisfy the Lord becomes happy, and then all people and everything becomes flourishing. Everyone becomes happy. This is the whole concept. Prabhupada gives example of Panchatantra story. All the senses, they went on strike, and they told that this stomach is not working at all, simply eating food and sleeping and resting nicely. And we all hands and legs and head, everything, they are always in work to find out food. So then they said that we will not work only. Now we will not provide any food to the stomach. So they started strike. And after 1-2 days, they started feeling weakness. Oh, we are not having strength now. So again, the meeting was held, and then in meeting or discussion was there that now how we are becoming weak. So then some of intelligent person said that because we are not getting energy. So energy is coming from where? Oh, energy is coming from food. But from food, who is digesting the food? Who is changing it into blood, and the blood is circulating everywhere, and then energy is coming. So then that is the stomach. So stomach has a most important job. We know in Ayurveda also, all disease starts from indigestion. Yes, if somebody cannot digest the food, so then disease starts. This generally happens in the old age time when digestion becomes weak. And then people cannot get nourishment from food, and they get a lot of diseases. So see, this is the important thing. The Krishna, he nourishes the whole universe, everyone. Therefore, the story of Akshay Patra also comes. When Draupadi and Pandavas, they were in trouble, Durvasa Muni came and he asked for, because 60,000 disciples, with 60,000 disciples, he approached Draupadi and Pandavas who were there in the jungle, because they were in Agyatwas time. So he asked, we have come, so have a food, kindly prepare a food for all of us, myself and my disciples, and we are going for bathing. And then Yudhishthira said, okay, Gurudev, you can go for bathing. And then he went for bathing with 60,000 disciples. And then they were in great tension. If you don't feed Durvasa Muni, he will curse. So then they remembered Krishna. And Draupadi remembered Krishna, and Pandavas remembered Krishna. Then Krishna, anywhere he may be, but when he's remembered by devotee, he approached to that place. And then Krishna was coming and then said, oh, Pandavas, I am very hungry, give me some food. So then they said, now they cannot hide anything from Krishna. They said, Krishna, we don't have any food because we have finished our food. Because Akshay Patra, if Draupadi takes the last meal from the Akshay Patra, then it will not produce food until the next food time come. Yes. So now Draupadi has already eaten. So now the Akshay Patra cannot produce any food. So then Krishna said, but I am hungry. So then they said that Krishna, sorry, but we have already eaten. We cannot give you. So then Krishna said, no, but something must be there. It's sticking to the Akshay Patra. Please go and find out. So Draupadi went and brought some sag, some leaf, spinach leaf. And then she brought a small particle, just she gave to Krishna, and Krishna ate. And with that eating, all 60,000 disciples with Durvasa Muni, they all got satisfied. They were bathing in the river and they got burp, like their stomachs have become full now. And then they started telling to Gurudev, we cannot eat more now. Already our stomachs have become bloated. Now if we eat more, then problem will happen. So then he said, but we have promised that we'll go back to them. So then, but we cannot eat. All of them are saying, we cannot eat, we cannot eat. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj said here to Bhima, now go and call Durvasa Muni. And then he took Gada and he approached to them that, come now. Now food is ready, come. So, but these all disciples, they were telling, we cannot eat, we cannot eat. So as Yudhishthira, this Bhima was coming, so they heard the sound of Bhima and they immediately got out of the river and they started running. And here Bhima is shouting, oh, please come, we have prepared food for you. There was no food, but he was saying, come. So, because Krishna had eaten, and so therefore when he had eaten, all the stomach have become satisfied. It is possible. See, Krishna may not do such things all the time because he has kept all of us in material world. We have to work here. Otherwise, Krishna can do this way also. Every day Krishna ko koi to bhog laga raha hai. No need to work. Our stomach will be full. But this will only happen when we'll do spiritual activity. Fully spiritual activity when we do, then we'll go to spiritual world, no material body, no material world, no material misery. So then we go to spiritual world, that time no worry of food because Krishna is already eating. So this is very much possible. So what Krishna cannot do, he is a fully conscious being. But these people have wrongly, or they have a half spiritual leader, half educated. Okay, so what is this? Okay, we can read this portion also and then we discuss. Ishopanishad advises us to pour water on the root, the source of all germination. The worship of the mass of humanity by rendering bodily service, which can never be perfect, is less important than service of the soul. Prabhupada is not saying here that it should not be done. He is saying it is less important and it is imperfect. It is less important and imperfect. So do not like, we are soul, but this body is there. So we serve Supreme Lord and we care for body. Okay, we care for body because body has to be maintained properly so that we can serve Lord. So ultimate, the goal is to serve Lord with love and devotion. And we care for body because it is helping us. In the similar way, Supreme Lord should be served, and this body or the body of every living entity, because they are child of the Lord, they should be cared for. Properly food should be there. But that is not the goal. That is like it has to be there. Yes, it has to be there. It should not be too much made. Therefore, this portion of our livelihood has been taken by the Lord. Like it is said in the all scripture that who maintains us? The Lord. Yeah, Lord maintains us. Then why we are working so hard? If Lord is maintaining us? Yes, Lord is maintaining us through our destiny. One thing. And Lord is maintaining us through our work. So we have the Varna, if you are Brahmana, if you do the work of Brahmana, Lord will maintain us. He will provide the food the way it has to come to us. And we are Brahmana, so we'll be satisfied with the minimal amount of food also. Because we know that we are Brahmana. If somebody is Kshatriya, he will not be satisfied. He needs more and more. because he's a very passionate person. So then Lord has to satisfy him in a different way. Like Prabhupada used to say, even till today, there are many elephants in the Africa. They are given food by the Supreme Lord, and the ants are also there. They are given minimal food, and elephants are given maximum food. So it is given by whom? Given by the Lord only. So to serve human being by medical aid, social help, and educational facility, while at the same time cutting the throat of the poor animal, is no service. Now Prabhupada is telling how this Mano Seva is imperfect. It is simply, basically, serving the body, some bodily attraction. Some bodily attraction, it is there. Like some people we see that they are really suffering. So we feel compassion for them, and we should feel compassion for them. But we should not leave our mala, jhola, and tilak and say, Bahut ho gaya. I have seen the truth now. This world is a place of suffering. Krishna cannot help them. What he can do to us? I will simply try to open some social institutions where poor can be fed, and hospital can be opened, and then schools can be opened, and then they can be taught, they can be educated so that they can stand on their legs, they can find out their livelihood, they can be happy. This is the goal of life. Now, today onwards, I will do this thing. This is wrong. This is not correct. So, because you find that these people, like I quoted the story, like one Mayavadi eating meat, and then asked, oh, this meat is a Brahman, I am a Brahman, I can eat, what is the problem? So they don't understand what is instruction given by the Lord in the scripture for humans, what is a sin, what is not sin, means what is pious, what is sin, and in what way they can transcend this. So they manipulate. They say that all are the children of God and we should serve them. They are Daridra and we should serve them. And they forget to serve the Lord in the temple. They say their Lord is everywhere. Why to serve him? He's everywhere in the heart of poor person. So I am serving poor person means I am serving Lord. So this is a problem. So this Mano Seva and Madha Seva is a topic of great discussion. So we'll just discuss with some PPT. Mano Seva and Madhav Seva. Is Mano Seva not Madhav Seva? So Mano Seva means serving the humanity, and Madhav Seva means serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how to see this both? So first of all, this concept of Madhav Seva and Mano Seva, why it has come? Because people very easily they derive the contrast between temples worship and starving people. They say that people are starving and you are using the money to serve God. What is this? Serving God means serving stone. So you should not spend so much money for creating flowers, garden, and then making mala, and then spending so much money for nice bhoga, and then ornaments of the Lord, and then temple construction. Why you are doing so much? Just give that money to poor people. So, okay. So if this is a concept that we should give money from the temple to poor people. So they say that why don't you see the God in the heart of poor people? So then we can also raise question, why don't you see God in slaughterhouse? In slaughterhouse, so many animals are getting killed. You should not kill them. Yeah, God is everywhere. So they are also the God. No? Animals are also God. So why are you killing them? You want to save one God and you want to kill another God. What is this? So they cannot answer this thing. And another thing, okay, we are very much concerned about God spending so much money for himself, or devotees spending for him. So then what about the cricketers and movie stars who for them so much money is spent, like cricket match? How many people purchase the cricket stadium ticket and then football match? So costly tickets. So much money is spent just for watching such thing. And then movies, all rubbish things are there, and the producer, director, they spend so much money and they also get so much revenue back from the public, and they enjoy. And where that all money is going? Are they using it for poor? Nobody questions. Are cricketers using their money for poor? Are all the rich people, industrialists, those who are earning in billions, trillions, are they using their money for poor? We don't question, because we see that they are doing something for at least a recognizable field of you can say jobs or livelihood. So therefore we say that no, they are busy in their life and they are right people. But those who are doing godly service, they will say no, you are not busy, you are like a parasite. You're not doing anything in the society. Neither you are industrialist, nor you are a cricketer, nor you are movie star. So what is the use of you? So let us go through and understand. Like, the whole cause for everything is a greed. Okay, if people are suffering because of no food, so there is a scarcity of food. Why food scarcity is there? First thing, so there are no proper amount of crops grown, or production is not complete, rains are not coming, or land is not there. Let us go to the investigation and find out. Okay, lands are not there. So why, if lands are not there, why you are growing tobacco? Why you are growing grass crops? Why people are transported from agriculture to industries? And they are not now no farmers in the land. Why they are not supported? Why we are not doing yagyas to call the rains? Okay, so these things we should answer first. Food, if the food crops are getting shortened, if production is short, so let us find the more land, and then more people to cultivate land and grow crops. Why don't we solve that problem first? So actually, the greed causes starvation. It means many rich people, they want to become richer and richer, and they are simply worried about their own project, their own life. So then they will create companies, industries in villages or in the cities, and they will take away all the land, and they will take away all the farmers, and they'll put them into job in the industry. That now you do job here, don't do job in the field now. You do job in the industry now. So they are very greedy. They want to earn money, and then these poor people have to work in their factories. And then our country, Prime Minister, they must say, okay, we are giving job to so many people. You are giving job, or you are taking away their real job. So when the real job has been taken away, so then who is going on the field and cultivating the field and doing agriculture? Nobody is doing. This is one thing. Second thing, these people, they hold many resources of God, and then the inflation happen of price. Yes, usko wo hold kar dete, so that like if you go to the market, you all must be aware of it. Every day the rates of vegetable changes every day. So I ask these people, how can every day the rates may change? Earlier it was not like that. Every day things are changing. So much upar niche. Why? Because it is all mismanagement. Nobody is thinking about it. See, if every day in our house, if every day some housekeepers or the pocha marne wale, jhadu marne, every day the changes, then you will become frustrated. We have to explain them every day. You have to wash vessel first, and then you have to put it there. Every day you cannot manage. Yes, because it's not everyday thing. You have to manage. Okay, I will take one housekeeper or the servant and put in my home and give this much salary. This is the management. In the similar way, government has to think. Now, from till today, till 10 years or 20 years, how our agriculture has to grow. This much production this year, next year this much production, this year more production. So then they have to plan for it. Who is planning for it? Who is planning for it? We are planning for more pesticides, more insecticides, more DDT, more genetic productions. We are planning for that. We are not planning for healthy food. And even if we are planning for healthy food, these organic companies have come and they are charging a lot of money. The government has to plan how to make the food available at the low cost. Who is planning for it? We are planning for digital India. Whatever. But we are more planning for modernistic way of living than natural or Vedic way of living, or godly way. So greed. So this greed has to be removed. This greed of humanity to go away from God's way of living to artificial way of living has to be stopped. When it is stopped, then only people can serve, can feel for others. Because if everybody is seeing that I have been provided by God, I have been maintained by God, and this is all a pious activity, so then they will serve people. Therefore, we used to find trees were grown earlier on along the both the side of the road, and people, the travelers, they used to sit down and under the mango tree, because they would be tired, and they'll pluck out some mango and eat. So earlier people used to think like this, that, okay, now this is a path where the travelers pass, so let us put some trees for them. Now who is thinking about it? Now all the trees are cut. So there has to be thinking. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu, sarve santu nirogmaya. Someone has to think about it. So this greed is one of the greatest cause. And Krishna says, Ichha dvesh samuttena dvanda mohena bharata. Ichha dvesh. Ichha means when the desire becomes too much aggravated, it is called greed. Iksha becomes like a lust, and lust goes to greed. And dvesh means hatred. So when living entity are very much greedy, they hate other people. And so they don't worry about other suffering. They commit hinsa. So facts speak that this is a old statistics, so not recent one, but this is also true. It may be of 2000 year 2000. So now, to satisfy the world sanitation, the food requirement would cost only 13 billion. What the people of United States and the European spend on perfume each year. Just see. Who is questioning the perfume industry now? Nearly 1 in 4 people, 1.3 billion, a majority of humanity live on less than $1 per day, while the world's 50 billionaires have assets exceeding the combined annual income of countries with 45% of world's population for people. So nearly 1 in 4 people live on less than $1 per day. But while the world's 358 billionaires have assets exceeding the combined annual incomes. So it means what? The rich people, they have taken a lot of resources and nobody's questioning them. Why? What you're doing with those resources? A person is having everyday new shoes, new chappal, or new clothes to wear. Is it a way to live? ऐसे कि तुम्हारा पैसा है तुम कुछ भी करोगे, ऐसा तो नहीं है. So this is not the way of living. Again, when people become godless, they concomitantly become materialistic and greedy, and so exploit the nature and their fellow humans for their selfish enjoyment. We may feed a few hungry people, but still till we remove greed from the wealthy people's heart, hunger will continue to torment millions. Prabhupada used to say that this earth has so much land that one can 10 times the population of earth can be fed. So much land is there. He used to travel in Australia, America. He used to see so much land is empty. Why they are not cultivating? Why they are not cultivating? So those lands were kept for cattle caring. So then they used to produce food for the cattle. Cattle means they will cut it and eat it tomorrow, but today they will feed so that it will become fatty, pulpy, and then tomorrow you cut it and eat it. So this is called cattle, caring for cattle. How can greed be removed? When people are offered spiritual education and experience, they understand the real happiness in loving God, not accumulating material things, and they give up greed. Transforming the heart is one greedy person is more effective than tackling starvation than merely feeding a few hungry people. Yes, because if somebody solves the greed problem, so then this rich person becomes generous and he can feed so many people. Not today, for whole life. Mother Teresa, what she says, what is the secret of your compassion? By praying, I feel, so she says, chanting. By praying, I feel love for God and all his children, and so want to help them as much as I can. Okay, so this is a one thing. So simply having good intention is not enough. Simply having the intention that, okay, feed the poor, bring the money from temple, feed the poor. No, but you have to see, if you bring money from temple, what loss you are going to get. So then, and secondly, where your money going? Let us see the poor also. If you give money to a beggar, you know that what he will do. Like recently, one beggar came and he was just crying and he asking for some money. So we gave 10 rupees. Okay, take. And after taking 10 rupees, he just went little forward and said, "Heh, his mood totally got changed fully. And he was speaking some slang language also. So I got astonished. क्या हो क्या गया समझ में नहीं है. Means it was simply pretension. वो pretension था केवल. रोने धोने का और हाथ में कुछ भी कुबड़ उबड़ जो भी like leprosy was there in hand. So these people have to be cared properly, not only food, because they will take money and they will eat something nonsense, some tobacco and some drink liquor. So then they have to be cared properly. If a person with a venereal disease is cured, what he will do afterwards? Yes, if somebody is having the AIDS or some other disease, so if he gets cured, it's not that he will stop doing all such nonsense what he was doing earlier. He will again keep doing. So they have to be educated. Their sanskara has to be changed. If you offer free treatment to an alcoholic, do you know that what he will do after being cured? He may drink more. Prabhupada used to give example of typhoid patient. Boy was having typhoid, and his mother went to the market and told to the sister, if he asks for any pudi or any oily item, don't give him because he's having typhoid. And then mother left for market. And this boy said, sister, I have not eaten oily thing from so many days. I'm hungry. I will die. You give me that, give me that. And sister thought, oh, he's so much nagging me and it is good for him. So then she gave. And his coughing increased. When mother came, she saw that blood was coming from mouth. And she said, what happened? And then she narrated the story. She slapped. She slapped immediately and told, what you did? You are killing him. But she said, but mama, brother was asking, he was in suffering condition. He was asking for one pudi. So I just gave him one pudi. Then mother slapped him once again and told, simply good intention is not enough. We have to see how you are trying to aggravate his disease, not helping him. So in the similar way, if we are helping the humanity just by serving their body, we are not only aggravating their sinful tendency more and more, but also we are dragging the people from the real purpose of becoming God conscious. So people have to become God conscious, either rich or poor or starving or anything. They have to become God conscious. That is the main thing. And if that is not kept the goal, the poor should also go to the temple. He should also be fed prasadam. The rich man should also go to temple so that his heart would be cleansed and he would serve many other. So the whole balance has to be seen, and the balance is through spirituality. Social service with yukta vairagya. So yes, as we were discussing that, they have to be provided food. Like Prithu Maharaj, he was charging against Earth, Mother Earth, because she was not giving food. So then Prithu thought that my people are pious, I am doing piety, I am doing religious, dharma, everything, and still Mother Earth is not providing. So then he charged against her, you give the food. Why are you not giving food to the citizens? So yes, Kshatriya has to make arrangement. The king has to make arrangement for food for everyone. Now there should not be question that why people are starving. They should be given proper place. There should be education for them. Proper livelihood should be given to them. And it is possible. But then the Raja has to become God conscious. Okay, this is one of the incidents. Like Srila Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj, some of the Grihasthas, devotees, they did not give charity to some poor mendicant or some poor person. So then he said, if married men think I must not give any of my money which I consider reserved for Krishna to the poor and deprived, then they are really showing symptom of wretchedness, cruelty and lack of compassion for others. They should not consider that giving charity to the poor is a fruitive activity. This kind of mentality will make our hearts hard as they will suffer from greed. As a result of this, they shall not want to spend their money even on the devotional service of the Supreme Lord, which is the ultimate goal of life. This will invite offense in service. So to save us from this kind of deceit and sinful concept, Sri Gaur Sundar used to give money and other things to poor people during his pastime as a married man. Even Lord Chaitanya also used to give money to the poor people. So we were just discussing about the greed in the heart of the people and wrong kind of civilization culture, no education for the poor people. Their habits are so bad. Now we are coming to the what we should be doing as a devotee also. So we hear that if we give any money to the poor and he is having the wrong behavior or wrong sanskara, so then he will create karma for us also. But here Bhakti Saraswati Mala is saying ki it is an act of compassion. And Prabhupada even writes this thing in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Giving something to poor person is also considered in a mode of goodness, charity in mode of goodness. But if you are giving charity to a person who is like a drunkard, just imagine one drunkard, and Baba, thoda paisa de do, pina ek aur. So that is not the right charity. That is charity in mode of ignorance. So let us reconcile. We have to educate the poor person also. We have to give him something which he cannot misutilize for his health also, by drinking wine or eating tobacco or by eating meat or whatever. He should not misutilize the things and again worsen his condition more and more. So give him food, give him some money, or purchase food and give him so that he can eat. He should not waste money in doing wrong things. So the whole concept is that we should be having compassion for them. One way of compassion is to show, to give them knowledge of Krishna consciousness, give them some books, knowledge, prasadam, and other way also to help them in some other way. Like here, he gave some money. Okay, you purchase something, no problem. So this we have to balance actually. Like one time, Radhanath Swami Maharaj said, he was traveling in a car and then a poor person came and then he knocked the door, give me something. Maharaj asked, something is there, prasadam? And devotee said, Maharaj, we forgot to bring prasadam. So Maharaj said, we give him some money. But money means then karma. No, you should give, because that is your responsibility to bring prasadam. You did not do your responsibility. Now you give him money because he needs, he's asking, and we have to give him. Yes. Yes, I will discuss. Just Anurag Prabhuji, I will just let us go ahead. The money money we have only gotten by the Lord's grace. If we give some of it to the mendicant poor people, then it is not a waste of money. Rather, it is a correct use. Serving prasadam to others is a necessary duty of every married Vaishnava. So money, prasadam, the best thing is to give them prasadam. If they are not eating prasadam, if they are asking for money, okay, give him some money. At least he's in dire need, give him. Means we have to see the situation also. If people are really suffering and they have bad habits, they may want some money for eating something. So if they're nagging us, we also give them, okay, le baba, tuja. Yes, we give them. But again, if we're going to misutilize in a very wrong way by drinking wine and liquor, that time we should avoid. Okay, I don't give you money, baba, tum ye le lo, ye khao, or kapda pehen lo, ye acha hai. This is good for you. Don't drink wine. This is not good. In this way, we have to protect them and also serve them. Okay. So this is the whole thing. Yes, what is the question, Prabhuji? Anurag Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask that, so what I understood is, principle is to have compassion. If that is not there, then we will not be able to spend money in even devotional services. And
Yes.
So that's the principle. Now,
Right.
to ensure that is there, we should not deny any beggars help. And there. So, but one line just wanted to check. There it also says that it is not a fruitive activity. Where Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj says that it is not a fruitive activity. So how is that? Like, I mean, does that become like, is it not a fruitive activity if we do that? Because I thought maybe even if it is a fruitive activity, we should do just to ensure that we are not becoming miser, or we have compassion, which is also required for devotional practices. So
see, this fruitive activity is from the side of a giver. If the giver, he has some desire to attain, like by giving, I want to show off that I will get some name and fame, which is not there in the, like by giving to some poor, some politicians can do like that. Okay, they call so many poor and they started giving money and some clothes because the vote time is coming now. Voting time is coming very near. So then they will go to the poor assembly and then they will give some money and clothes and they will care for them. So that is what this is fruitive. Means they want to gain something from such kind of service. But we devotees, we are giving them just to help him, just to think that प्रभु और बाबा थोड़ा एक माला जब एक हरे कृष्णा बोल दो आप, ये थोड़ा प्रसाद ले लो, थोड़ा खा लो. तो our motive is what? To help him, to make him devotees, at least to bring him to some connection with Krishna. So this is not fruitive at all. So fruitive activities happens, even Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita. Any activities, if our desire is to serve Krishna, even though it is appearing fruitive, it is not a fruitive. Like we are earning money. With that money, is it not a fruitive? It's a fruitive activity. But how it is fruitive and why it is not fruitive? When we are using money for Krishna service, then it is not a fruitive. Our goal is to utilize money for advancement in Krishna consciousness and also use for bodily maintenance and maintaining family. But our goal is not to create a great empire of material world and material goals or impress people. No. But yes, it does not mean that we should not remain in the status quo where we are standing, like Amrish Ford, Prabhu. He is a rich man, so he has to live like a rich man. He will not live like a poor man. Then somebody can question, oh, you are a devotee. How can you live like a rich man? Now, Krishna was also living with the Yadus. They were very rich men. Mathura Vasis, they were also rich because they were Kshatriyas. But at the same time, Sudama, he was a poor Brahmana. So according to one's position, one should be living. One should not do sense gratification. So then, if our desire is to serve Krishna, then slowly, some fruitive desire may be there because we are practitioners. That will also get rid of. When we start serving Krishna more and more, then we'll become pure. So, okay. Okay, na?
Yes, Prabhuji, understood. Thank you.
Yes, okay. So Madhav Seva is the real Manav Seva, but pretense of the pseudo and incarnations have their own unholy propaganda. The living and being is perpetually suffering in different types of bodies from material miseries of birth, death, old age, disease, death. The human form of life offers one a chance to get out of this entanglement simply by re-establishing the lost relationship between living entity and the Supreme Lord. The Lord comes personally to teach this philosophy of surrender unto the Supreme, the Sambhuta. Sambhava means the cause of all causes. Worshipping of that Sambhava, same thing is mentioned here, Sambhuta. So the Lord comes personally to teach this philosophy of surrender unto Supreme, Swadharman Paritajya. The real service to the humanity is to render when one teaches surrender and worship of the Supreme Lord with full love and energy. This is the instruction of Sri Ishopanishad in this mantra. So Ishopanishad is not saying that make this as a goal of our life, service to the poor. So this is a wrong understanding, service to the poor. Poor are suffering because of greeds of many unscrupulous people, rich people. And the poor are not educated, they are not guided that they should surrender to Krishna. They should live at least now pious life. So then Krishna, their future will be good, and right now also they will have mercy of Krishna and the devotees. And the king should be also Krishna conscious king, that he should give them some livelihood, some job, so that these people can do some work. Not that simply sitting on the railway station and or on the pilgrim places just asking de de baba, de de baba. They should be given some work. They should be provided some facilities so that they can be cured. One thing is bodily problem, other thing is mental problem. So then who has to arrange for all these things? So then this government should take out the money from these rich people. And then also they should be taught how they should become selfless and serve the humanity. But this all can happen when people become God conscious. So the goal should be to serve the Supreme Lord. The simple way to worship the Supreme Lord in this age of disturbance to hear and chant about his great activity. The mental speculators, however, think that the activities of the Lord are imaginary, therefore they refrain from hearing of them, invent some word jugglery without any substance to divert the attention of innocent masses of people instead of hearing of the activities of Lord Krishna. Such pseudo spiritual masters advertise themselves by inducing their followers to sing about them. Now you find the Sai Charitra. The Sai Charitra is there. तो साईं बाबा के ऊपर गाना गाया गया. उस तरीके से कई लोगों ने अपने अपने गुरु के ऊपर गाना गाया है. So just because tuning is very good, just because it is appealing to so many people's heart, it's not that it has become authentic song and you put it into temples. Temples में गाना गाना चालू कर दो. Prabhupada used to say that the songs, the writings of only liberated soul should be sung in the temples, or we should pray those songs only in front of the Lord as a prayers. We should sing those only, not that anything we are singing just because tune is matching. Yes, in India it happens now, like sometimes in outside so nice tunes of worshipping some Baba or some God, and it appeals to the heart so much. So then people have started practicing those songs. So this is not correct. Actually, there are many singers, very good singers, but they do not know what to sing. And what is their goal? They simply think that God has given me good sound and let me glorify everyone and everything. And they go for any glorification, like all the films, even though we may glorify Lata Mangeshkar or whatever, but then what is the quality of song? Actually, that also has to be seen. क्या गाया है आपने? कितने लोगों के हार्ट में kalmash, abhadras you have removed. You have simply sung a song which will increase the abhadras in the heart of the people. So then what is the contribution actually? Contribution not because you have been given good sound, like a koyal, cuckoo. Now cuckoo is calling her she cuckoo. He cuckoo is calling she cuckoo. So what is the great thing about even calling in a very nice way? What is the great thing about it? So this thing has to be seen in human society especially. In animal society, all these things will keep going. Therefore, humans are said that humans have to see the purpose for which they are living. Varam muhurtam. So it is second in second canto it is said that varam muhurtam. Even a one moment of life is sufficient for one who is having the highest consciousness. One should not go for living long times. If you have the highest consciousness, you can just live for one moment. One moment means 48 minutes. That much. Muhurta. Okay. Upanishad indirectly points to the Lord Sri Krishna, while Bhagavad Gita directly points to the Lord Sri Krishna. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada says here, this thing, the Lord's inner direction cleanses the devotee's heart of all contamination produced by the inner modes of passion and ignorance. Non-devotees are under the sway of passion and ignorance. One who is in passion cannot become detached from material hankering, and one who is in ignorance cannot know what he is or what the Lord is. So, in devotional service, two things are there: knowledge and detachment. By practicing bhakti, one gains knowledge and detachment. Or even somebody is practicing knowledge and detachment, surely knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then he will also cultivate bhakti. Okay. So it is said that Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayat Yasu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahetukam. Vasudeva Bhagavati. If somebody practicing Vasudeva Bhakti, so Jnanam and Virakti both will come. Now, Jnana means what? To know who is the Lord, what is my relationship with him, what is bhakti, how I have to serve him, all these transcendental knowledge. And Virakti means to detach from material hankering. So here it is mentioned, the passion, those who are in passion zone, these passionate people cannot detach from material hankering. That is why passion is against our devotional service. And then one is ignorance means he will not know about the Lord or about himself. So it means this is knowledge. So knowledge and detachment are not supported by passion and ignorance mode. Therefore, Shastra says you come to the mode of goodness. Otherwise, your knowledge and detachment will be degraded after certain time. If we remain in passion and ignorance, our knowledge and detachment can be degraded. Thus, one who is in passion or ignorance, there is no chance for self-realization. However, how much one may play the part of religionist, for a devotee, the mode of passion and ignorance are removed by the grace of the Lord. Now, why Prabhupada is saying mode of passion and ignorance? One thing, if you read the above part here, where it went. Yeah. The 10.10, Tesam Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purokam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upyanti Te. Krishna says, I give the buddhi to those who do Priti Purvakam. Means they do loving devotional service. Loving devotional service means whatever you do, Prabhupada says, you do with a love for Krishna. Okay, I'm doing it for Krishna. I want to please Krishna. I want to serve Krishna. This is for loving at our level. I'm not saying transcendental loving devotional service. Transcendental loving devotional service you can only do when you are at the level of the Atma, Brahma Bhuta. Right now we can do at least loving devotional service. Okay, we are doing it for Krishna. Okay. So for those people, Nitya, always engaged under the instruction of a spiritual master, to them Krishna gives what? Buddhi, Tadami Buddhi. And when he gives Dadami Buddhi, Krishna also says the next verse that I cleanse their heart. With that Buddhi, these people, these devotees, they start working to go back home, back to Godhead. That is their goal. And as they start working in this direction, Krishna cleanses their heart, which is what Prabhupada is mentioning here. By grace of Krishna, passion and ignorance are cleansed. Anyone who can qualify the Brahmana, he follows the path of devotional service under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master. See, anyone can qualify as a Brahmana if he follows the path of devotional service. Anyone can qualify as a Brahmana. So, because Vaishnava is ever Brahmana. So, anybody who becomes Vaishnava, he has to become Brahmana automatically. Therefore, there's a Brahman initiation. Why? Okay, Brahman initiation can't it be given to Vaishya? Can't it be given to Kshatriyas? Can't it be given to Sudras? So work can be assigned to them. Okay, a Sudra, he has certain work like something like making pot or doing some carpentry. Okay, so he can do his work. But the devotional service, the aspect that is a Brahmanical, worshipping the Lord, eating prasadam, chanting the holy names, then doing Nagar Sankirtan, these are all Brahmanical work. Vaishnava work. So these are all Brahmanical. But the person can still be doing his activity according to his Varna. Okay. It does not mean Brahman initiation हो गया मतलब तुम अपना job छोड़ो बैठ जाओ temple में. ऐसा इसका मतलब नहीं है. Brahmana means you have to read scriptures, Pathan, Pathan, Yajan, Yajan, you have to do. But by profession, if you are a Kshatriya, so then you have to do the work of Kshatriya. But he will still be getting Brahman initiation because without Brahmanical initiation, you cannot worship deities. You have to worship the deities. So that is called Panchratrika Brahman. That is called Vedic Brahman, Panchratrika Brahman. So Panchratrika Brahman has been given authority or facility and sanctioned by spiritual master that he can worship deities. He can do all the Sodasupchar and serving of the deities he can do. So unless somebody becomes Brahmana, how can he become Vaishnava? So Kirat Hunan Pulinda Pulkasa. So this is all these things. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada used to say, I can Acharya or I can make even foreigners Brahmana. So then Kashta Goswami used to say, how can you make foreigners or the Western people who are Malechas, Yavanas, how can you make them Brahmanas? Prabhupada says, it is possible by initiation process. You will be studying all these things in NOD. This is going to come. So this is possible by, so Sanatana Goswami says that a bell metal can be converted into a gold by some process of alchemy. Some process is there, chemistry. In a similar way, spiritual master can convert some Sudra as a Brahman by initiation process. So then nobody should disregard him as that he's not a Brahmana. He should be accepted as a Brahmana. So Prabhupada is saying, once somebody's heart is cleansed of passion and ignorance, he becomes Brahmana. And then he can practice bhakti very nicely because he will not fall down. He's in mode of goodness. When one attains the Brahmanical qualification, he becomes happy. His happiness comes when there is a goodness. Sattva sanjayate jnanam and sukham. So jnanam and sukham comes in mode of goodness. So he becomes enthusiastic and happy to render devotional service. And automatically the science of God is unveiled before him. By knowing the science of God, one gradually becomes free from material attachment. Actually, this is the process given in first canto, second chapter. These sequence of verses are there. I will give you. You can read in as a homework. The verses are from Shinvatam swakatha Krishna punya sarvana kirtana hridayantasto bhadrani vidunoti suhrita satam. 1.2.17 from here till it goes to 1.2.21. These four or five slokas, they are explaining what Prabhupada is saying here. Okay, all sequential growth is mentioned here. See, this is that. Hearing about Krishna draws his attention. Okay. This is a Shinvatam Swakatha Krishna Purna Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastu Abhadrani Vidunoti Suhrita Satam. So Shinvatam Swakatha. If somebody hears about Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, so then what happens? Krishna becomes attracted. Oh, he's hearing about me. Then Krishna, he cleanses the heart of Satam. Suhrita Satam means those who are truthful devotees. They are nicely having good attitude. They are hearing from right person. They want to follow. They have faith in the Lord. So then Krishna cleanses their heart. Krishna gives direction and cleanses the heart of passion and ignorance. It is said by many acharyas that even somebody wants, if just desires to hear about Krishna, Krishna becomes happy. Vishwanath Chaudhary Thakur says, even he desires also, Krishna becomes happy. Now I will cleanse his heart. So acharyas are very hopeful and positive. Attains, then after the cleansing heart, attains goodness and becomes qualified as a Brahmana. This is what Prabhupada says. And then after that, happy and enthusiastic to perform bhakti. Then we'll become happy and enthusiastic to perform bhakti. When we come in the mode of goodness, then we can become happily, we be happily situated, and then we'll perform bhakti in an enthusiastic way. Because knowledge is there, detachment is there. Passion and ignorance have gone away. It means knowledge is there and detachment is there. Detachment means detachment from material hankerings, all material illusion, detachment, we are detached. And then knowledge means we are inspired by the knowledge of absolute truth. So automatically we are dragged or attracted by the Lord. So that's why we can perform bhakti in a happy and enthusiastic way. Therefore, you see many sannyasis and many great devotees, they perform bhakti in a very jolly way. And when we start performing such bhakti, then the signs of God will be unveiled. That time signs of God will be revealed to us. What we are listening and hearing, that will be revealed in our heart. And then we will be free from material attachment completely. And then the doubts of mind are cleared by the Lord's grace, and we become liberated soul and will see Krishna in every step of life. So this is the perfection of Sambhavat. When you worship the Sambhavat, this is what is going to happen. And the worship starts from hearing about him, associating with the devotees, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, then slowly everything is coming. We will become Brahmanas, we will become happy, we will perform bhakti, all our illusions will go away, we will realize the signs of God, and then Krishna will reveal to us. Okay? We're done. So one who attains this stage is liberated soul and can see the Lord in every step of life. This is the perfection of Sambhava as described in this mantra. Okay. So we'll go to the next sloka. हो गया. So mantra 14. Just 1 minute. Sambhutim cha vinasam cha yastad vedo bhayam saha vinasena mrityum kritva sambhutyamritam ashnute. This is the mantra 14. So this section, this is the last one, which is telling us that the Vedas, they mention about both material world and spiritual world. And we have to have knowledge of both. Just because we learnt in last two shloka that if you attach to the temporary things of this world, so you will go to greater darkness, and then you will be pseudo-religionist and you will be Mayavadi. Okay, but that is because we have not heard from Dhiras. We have not heard from Acharyas properly. But when you hear from Acharyas, he will tell about both Sambhutim and Vinasam, both. The Vinasam, the Vinasena here mentioned. So what is Vinasam means? Which is going to destroy in this world. Everything in this world will be destroyed. Yes, annihilation is the ultimate destiny of everything in this world. And then creation will also happen. So creation, annihilation, creation, dwindle, you can say creation, and then destruction and annihilation, and then creation, then destruction and annihilation. Like the destruction means here they are dwindling phase. So Sambhutim is spiritual and Vinasam is material. But we have to know both the knowledge we should be having. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, his transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastime, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigod, men, and animals. When one knows these, he surpasses death and ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So what is the result also given? If you know about both, so you will get out of this material world, you will get out of the Vinasam, and you will enter into Sambhutim. You will enter into the kingdom of God, eternal object. Okay. Immortality is impossible materially. This thing we have discussed earlier also. Like, I think, which is that sloka? A mantra? Hiranyakashipu was trying to become immortal. Yes, material scientists were trying to become immortal. So one-sided attempt was not possible. Deva Prabhupada said that we should make both. That is, I think, this is 14th, 13th, 12th. So 11th mantra was saying this thing, that you should balance Vidya and Avidya. Only one-sided attempt will not help you. So Hiranyakashipu was making one-sided attempt. Scientists are also making one-sided attempt. One-sided means only material advancement. By material advancement, I will become happy and immortal. That is not possible. This is what Prabhupada is saying here. In reality, mortal being is subject to the 6 material transformation. This also we have discussed. Birth, growth, maintenance, reproduction, dwindling, and death. These are 6 transformations which happens with every soul who has got material body. So this transformation happens with the body of that soul, means the material body, not with the soul. And if the soul is not there, then the matter goes 3 transformation, created, then it is dwindling, and then annihilation, finish. So creation, dwindling, and finish. So this is the 3 things happen with the normal matter. So Prabhupada is saying about, whenever intelligent man question to such scientists, what about birth, death, old age, and disease? So what they say, we are trying now, and material science is progressing, and ultimately it will be possible to render man deathless, ageless, and diseaseless. See, this is happening. Why this is happening? Why scientists are answering in this way? Because they are ignorant of Vinasam. They do not know about truth of temporary world. This is what mentioned here. Scientists do not know, therefore they are unnecessarily wasting their time and misleading other people. If they accept, if they hear from Dhira, what is Vinasam, what is Sambhuti, so then they will not try to spend their so much important vital energy into making this world as permanent or immortal. They will try to just live in this world happily according to God's laws and try to transcend this world after death. Because this is the way immortality is possible. We learned in previous mantras that Krishna can only make us immortal by the process of bhakti. Yes. This is their ignorance. Therefore, this world is called Martya Loka, the place of death. One's lifespan may vary, but ultimately one has to die. Brahma may live for many millions of trillions of years. And an ant or amoeba may live, or some insects may live for very small amount of time. But for every living being in this world is living for 100 years. Srila Prabhupada used to say everybody is living for 100 years, but it is relative to them. For Brahma, 100 years is very long. For demigod, it is short, and for humans, more short. And for very small living entity, just living for some seconds and then dying, it is for the ultimate shortest time. But still, that living entity is living for 100 years. It is relative to the person. So for us, 100 years means what we know 100 years. And for Brahma, 100 years is very long. So it is relative to Brahma. And our 100 is related to us. This we should understand. So, as been you may have heard or not heard that Brahma, he lives for 100 years. So what is the calculation of that time? The calculation is we have Chatur Yuga, 4 yugas. Okay, Satyug, Dwapar, Treta, Kali. And Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. And if you double it, it will become the age of right now. Dwapar Yuga just went before Kali Yuga. So then Dwapar Yuga age is how much? 4,32,000 into 2, 8,64,000 years. And then when you again triple the age of Kali Yuga, it will give the age for Treta Yuga. If you make it 4 times, it will give the age of Satyuga. When you combine all this calculation together, it will become the age of Chatur Yuga, or it is also called Divya Yuga, Chatur Yuga or Divya Yuga. And that comes around 4 lakhs. So then it becomes 43,20,000 years. It becomes 43 lakh. Just Kali Yuga का जो age है ना, उसको एक 0 लास्ट में डाल दो, हो जाएगा वो. 43,20,000 years is the age of Chatur Yuga. Now, in this Chatur Yuga, this set of 4 yugas, when they continue for 1,000 times, that becomes the 12 hour of Brahma. 12 hour of Brahma means 1,000 Chatur Yuga is called 12 hour of Brahma. How this calculation has come, that is also given. We can calculate later. We don't have time. So 1,000 Chatur Yuga is a 12 hour of Brahma. So we have 12 hour morning, 12 hour night. Yes. So in a similar way, this 12 hour is called Kalpa. Kalpa means 12 hour of Brahma, morning. And 12 hour of Brahma is a night also. So similar time. 1,000 Chatur Yuga is again the night of 12 hours of Brahma in night time. And 12 hours of Brahma in daytime is again 1,000 Chatur Yuga. Done? So in one day of Brahma, 14 Manus, not one day of Brahma. So Manvantar. So one Manu lives for 71 Divya Yugas. One Manu lives for 71 Divya Yuga. 71 or some point is there. That is why I'm not saying, because that is Sandhya time. Like every Yuga, like Kali Yuga, Satyug, Dwapar, Treta, Kali. This is a proper sequence. But in this time, the Satyug, Treta, and Dwapar and Kali has happened. Because whenever Krishna appears, this kind of changes happens. Okay. So between 2 Yuga, there is called Sandhya period. Like between night and day, there is Sandhya, evening. Yes, evening time is there. So between every Yuga, there is a Sandhya. And Sandhya is 12% of that Yuga's time. 12% of that Yuga's time, next Yuga's time. Okay, next Yuga, which is going to come. 12%. So 12% is the age, the time of that age is a Sandhya time. So like 4 yugas are there. So how many Sandhya can come? 3 Sandhya. Yes, in between. And then the Kali Yuga is going to go to Satyuga. Then Kali Yuga and next Satyuga, 1 Sandhya. And then Satyuga and then Kali, previous one, that is 1 Sandhya. So like that, Sandhyas are there. So in Brahma, one day, 14 Manus, they come. So therefore, there are 15 Sandhyas there. 15 Sandhyas. And therefore, 15 Sandhya plus 14 Manus time is there for one day of Brahma. That is 1000 Chaturyuga, which we are discussing right now. Okay. So I'm just making it equal with the Manvantar time. So Manvantar Manus. Manus means they are the pioneer of all the humans. Okay. So every yuga, not yuga, I'll say every Manvantar, there's a head. One that is the head is Manu. Under that Manu, the whole civilization works. And that Manu's time is 71 Divya Yugas, means Chatur Yugas. For this many long years he lives. So Swayambhu Manu, Chakshusha Manu, then which is our Manu? Vaivasvat Manu. So right now we are under Vaivasvat Manu. Vaivasvat Manu, the son of sun god. Vivaswan is the sun god and his child is Vaivasvat. And he is the Manu of today's time. We are in him right now. Right? He is the Manu for us. So this is a 12 hours of Brahma, 1000 Chaturyugas. And then in every Manvantar, at the end of the Manvantar, I will just show you one thing. You can read and then understand more better after. So this much knowledge is background knowledge is okay. And then I will show you this thing. So in the 12th canto, 4th chapter, this is given. 12th canto, 4th chapter. So they are pralaya. We are going to learn about pralaya because here Prabhupada is saying anybody who is taking birth in this world, either 100, either a small ant or a Brahma, they are going to finish. So there are 4 kind of pralaya. 4 kind of pralaya happens. Pralaya means finishing, annihilation. So we just now learned that everything which is born in this world, it will be devastated, it will be annihilated at last. Okay. Now, what are those pralayas? So does any pralaya happens with this world also? Yes. So there are 4 kind of pralaya. So one is called Nitya Pralaya. Nitya Pralaya means like every day what is happening. Like you see the people are dying, animals are dying, some devastation is happening. That is called Nitya Pralaya. Somebody is dying because of destiny, he died. It's a Nitya Pralaya is happening. You can see like somewhere earthquake came, somewhere tsunami came. People are dying. Rail accident, people died. So this is called Nitya Pralaya. It's happening, Nitya. Then comes Naimittik Pralaya. Naimittik Pralaya. Naimittik Pralaya means like we sleep in the night, Brahma also sleeps in night. So after 1000 Chaturyuga, he also sleeps for 12 hours. So for 12 hours means for 1000 Chaturyuga he sleeps. And that time he becomes a Naimittik, means he becomes the cause for annihilation. Because अभी ब्रह्मा ही सो गए, अगर ड्राइवर ही सो गया गाड़ी चलाने वाला, तो भाई गाड़ी चलेगा तो एक्सीडेंट हो जाएगा, है कि नहीं? So therefore, if the driver is slept now, the car has to be stopped, the vehicle has to be stopped, this world has to be stopped, and because Brahma is sleeping now. So when Brahma sleeps means the world has to be stopped. So then all the living entities, they are devastated. Planets are not devastated, but living entities, they are drowned in the water, all annihilation happens. And then they enter into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And Brahma sleeps. So this is one thing. And then when Brahma dies, after his 100 years, so when Brahma is only dying, means he is the cause of the whole universe, he only made, means after Lord created him, and the whole Brahmand, the word Brahmand is coming, the Brahmand. So he is the secondary creator, but Lord is giving him full empowerment that you are the Raja of this universe. When you will die, this whole universe will be finished. So that time annihilation is happening, that is called Prakritik Pralaya. Prakritik pralaya means all elements of material creation are devastated. All planets, all elements, even intelligence, mind, ego, everything is finished. And they all merge into ultimately Prakriti. So that is Prakritik pralaya. That happens at the end of Brahma's life, 100 years of Brahma. Nitya pralaya. Then second comes Naimittik pralaya, when Brahma sleeps. Then comes Prakritik pralaya. And comes last one, Atyantik pralaya. When living entity becomes realized of his identity, I am a soul, I am a servant of Supreme Lord, then he gives up this body and this world and he goes to the Supreme Lord. That is called Atyantik pralaya. Because he has got freed now from this world now. He will not come back. So then, gone, finished everything for him. So that is called Atyantik pralaya. So this is given in 12th canto, 4th chapter. The category of universal annihilation you may read. Like 20-30 slokas are there. Again, he mentioned 1000 cycle of 4 ages constitute a single day of Brahma known as Kalpa. O king, 14 Manus come and go. So 14 Manus, they come in 1 day of Brahma, 12 hours of Brahma. After 1 day of Brahma, annihilation occurs during his night, which is the same duration. Matlab 12 hours of night is there. So all the planetary system are subject to destructions. This is called Naimittik, occasional annihilation. So this we can read. This all are given. Okay. So this is again homework for everyone. You can read 12 canto, 4th chapter.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya. Material scientists and politicians are trying to make this place deathless because they have no information. We are discussing the same thing. Why they are telling? Because they have no information. They are foolish people. They don't have knowledge of vinasam. क्या विनाश होने वाला उसका knowledge ही नहीं है उनको. वो सोचते हैं कि we can make it eternal, which is not possible. So Vishnu Sakti Para Prokta. Now Srila Prabhupada is explaining that Vishnu has 3 Sakti, Para and Apara, and Tatashta. Tatashta Sakti is also Para Sakti. And unless we know the nature of them and just trying to meddle with them without knowledge, so it will be waste of our energy and we will not reach to any proper goal. So material energy we should not meddle with. Material energy God has assigned for purifying us of our lording over tendency. So therefore, we should be careful with material energy. We should utilize it for our spiritual salvation purpose as much as needed. The material creation is made possible by this energy which covers the living entities avidya and induces them to perform fruitive activity. This we have discussed earlier. What is the nature of material energy? Here mentioned avidya karma samagyaya means material nature enforces ignorance on living entities and also makes him work. Avidya and karma are given by material nature. So therefore we are all busy doing a lot of karma. Every time, every moment karma is happening. And in avidya it is happening. In ignorance of our original identity. In ignorance of Ishavasya principle. This is avidya. This is the activity of material nature. And then parastasmatu bhavanyo vyakta vyakta sanatana. And we are sanatana. Yes. This is what Krishna is mentioning. Actually, now Ishopanishad and even Prabhupada is mentioning this fact is important. Ishopanishad and Srimad Bhagavatam, which I talked just now, 12.4. Why Parikshit Maharaj is spoken about this annihilation of universe? When he's finishing 12th canto, that time he is spoken about it. So Acharya, they say, because Parikshit is also about to die. And Sukdev Goswami wants to tell him that, see, even this universe is going to finish us. Don't worry. Don't think that you are only dying and everybody is living here. No, everybody will die. So how many years we live, that does not matter actually. What it matters means after living, if we can approach our goal, or at least we can make some advancement in approaching our goal, that is important. spiritual good. Ekpad Vibhuti, Tripad Vibhuti. What is Ekpad Vibhuti? 1 by 4 and 3 by 4. So this world, whole creation, spiritual and material creation. Krishna says that Mattah Parataram. No. He says that Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Mattah Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. What is that? Next.
Matta sarva pravartati.
Mattah Sarvam Pravartate iti Mattva Bhajante Ma Buddha Bhav Samanvita. So Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. So everything is coming from me. All emanations are coming from me, spiritual and material. So Ekpad Vibhuti means material creation is 1 by 4. According to scriptures, it is mentioned it is 1 by 4th of creation, and 3 by 4th creation is spiritual world. That is called Tripad Vibhuti. Tripad Vibhuti means spiritual world, and Ekpad Vibhuti means material world. So we have to attain the Tripad Vibhuti by giving up this Ekpad Vibhuti. And spiritual world, even though this all annihilation happens, the 4 kind of annihilation, Nitya, Naimittik, Prakritik, and last one was Atyantik. Atyantik. So this all pralaya, even if it happens, the spiritual world is not destroyed. Therefore, Krishna says that even the material world is destroyed, that Vyakta Vyakta Sanatana, that Avyakta world, Avyakta, which is not visible to our eyes, Avyakta, spiritual world, is Sanatana. Therefore, the Prabhupada uses this word. Parastasmatu bhavanya vyakto avyakta sanatana. The spiritual world is sanatan. It will never destroy. Even though this world is destroyed, that world will not destroy. Krishna also uses the word na hanyate hanyamane sarire. For the soul also he says, even though this body is destroyed, soul is not destroyed. Same thing. Immortality is possible only by worshipping the Lord Sri Krishna. One can attain Lord's favor easily by bhakti. So we are just going through the main points here. So through karma, yoga, and jnana, one cannot approach Supreme Personality of Godhead. One cannot approach his abode. Okay, and he cannot also take darshan of the Lord, surely. Darshan, okay, sometimes he gives darshan to demigods also. But we mean to say that realization, he cannot have the Lord. So if somebody is karmi, he can go to Swargaloka, maximum. If somebody is Jnani and Yogi, he can go to Taplok, Maharlok. And when he perform more yoga and siddhi and knowledge, then he can go to the Brahman realization. He can get out of this world. But devotees, they can go directly to the spiritual world by performing bhakti. This is what mentioned. So Jnani and Yogin can attain the higher planets such as the Maharlok and Taplok and Brahmalok. And when they become still more qualified through devotional service, they can enter into the spiritual nature, either illuminating the cosmic atmosphere of the spiritual sky like Brahman or Vaikuntha. So these Jnanis don't think that they directly go immediately. No. They also have to go to certain lokas, because sometimes when they are going from different paths, they start observing, oh, this loka is very good, let me stay here, and then I will go further. So then they stay at that place. Even Prabhupada used to say, when we will be going back to Godhead, we will be shown some Swarga pictures, some pictorial, some what is happening in Swarga. So then the Vishnu Duta will ask, okay, so would you like to land here and see what is happening? If we become attracted by such things, so then we'll enjoy there. That is possible. Okay. So lording over is the material disease. One should give it up and align with the Lord's plan to become immortal. On the material planets, everyone from the Brahma down to the ant is trying to lord it over material nature, and this is a material disease. So, Purusaha prakrito stohi bhunkte pratijan guna karanam gun sangvasya sadasad yoni janmasu. Bhagavad Gita says that because of this lording nature, Purush, the Prakriti, Prakriti wants to become Purush in this material world, and that's why we have been given different bodies. And by doing different karmas, we are associating with the material nature, and so that becomes the cause of different bodies. Because we have lording over tendency, we do a lot of karma, and that karma gives us body. That reaction. Whether he takes the form of man, demigod, or animal, he ultimately has to endure an unmanifested condition during the two devastation. What are those? The devastation during the night of Brahma and devastation at the end of Brahma's life. This end of Brahma life is a very terrible devastation. When it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, that time what happens that for 100 years, there is no rain. No rain. Only from down, this Sesnag, he is blazing out fire from his mouth. And from up, sun has increased its radiance many times. तो भगवान ने सन का टेम्परेचर बहुत बढ़ा दिया है और नीचे से अनंत शेष फायर फेंकते हैं, पूरे ब्रह्मांड को जला के रख देते हैं. It becomes like a golden, because of fire, it becomes like a golden. It is mentioned, it becomes like a gold because everywhere fire is there. For 100 years it happens like that. And after that, after burning, everybody dies. Then for 100 years, the rain happens. So then after 100 years, what happens? All the planets, everything becomes filled with the water. And then this water takes away the property of earth. And then like this, how the earth is created, from water, earth has come. So then the water takes away the property of earth. Then water की property air ले लेगा, air की property उसके पीछे वाला ले लेगा. ऐसे कर करके originally merge into the Mahat, and Mahat merges into the Prakriti. Finish. Everything goes into Prakriti. So Prabhupada is saying here that this Pralaya, Brahma's night, and the devastation at the end of Brahma's life, whatever we take a form of animal, we have to endure this unmanifested condition during the unmanifested condition means what? When this Pralaya happens, we go into the body of the last Pralaya. When it happens, we go into the body of Mahavishnu. When this Brahma sleeps, we go into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. We don't have any body that time. No material body. But we are simply there. Sleep. So now here it is mentioned that if you want to put the end to this process of repeated birth and death, as well as the concomitant factors of old age and disease, we must try to enter the spiritual planets where we can live eternally in association with the Lord Krishna and his plenary expansion, his Narayan form. Yes, so we have to go to the spiritual world. No one can dominate Krishna in the conditioned state. It is a conditioned soul who tries to dominate material nature and is instead subject to the laws of material nature and the suffering of repeated birth and death. The Lord comes to re-establish the principle of religion and the basic principle of development of our attitude of surrender to him. This is very, very important. Actually, this is the real dharma, to surrender unto the Lord. Like many times, very practical thing, like you are going for certain service or whatever, but in between the Lord temple is there. So then you will think whether I should go and pay obeisances to the Lord or directly run away for service. So this is again the feeling of surrender has to be there. I am his servant, I am his surrendered. Let me go and pay him obeisances because he's my master. This is a real religion actually. Otherwise, many times we in our consciousness have not become full devotees. We are serving, but then surrender attitude is not there. Many times we cross question, argument, so many things happen. Why? Because we are not surrendered. This is what Prabhupada mentioned, that you cannot dominate over Krishna. You have to surrender. You should understand that I am helpless in front of Lord. I am surrendered to him. I am his servant. I should always be in helpless condition in front of Lord, so that I should take shelter of him. Give up all other process and just surrender unto me alone. Unfortunately, the foolish man misinterpreted the open hospital. Okay, this we already discussed. Temporary relief work we should not be doing. Balance of both is spiritual. Balance of both, Sambhuti and Vinasam. In this mantra, Sri Ishopanishad teaches that one must perfectly know both Sambhuti, personality of Godhead, and the Vinasa, the temporary material manifestation side by side. By knowing the material manifestation alone, one cannot be saved. For in the course of nature, there is devastation at every moment. Correct? Ahani hani bhutani gachanti yama alayam. Yam ke alay mein jana padega. है ना? Means yamlok, we have to go. After giving up this body, according to our activities, pious, impious, we have been taken to the Yamlok, and then decision is taken where we want to go, pious enjoy करना है या impious, but दोनों हमें करना ही पड़ेगा. Both we have to enjoy. Nor can one be saved from this devastation by opening hospitals. One cannot say. One can be saved only by complete knowledge of eternal life and bliss and awareness. So the devotees, those who practice Krishna consciousness, they do not suffer like karmis. They may feel inconvenience, but they may not suffer. And there are many stories are also there about it. So devotees, because they know that to the extent we are attached to this body, that much extent we suffer. That's why we just now read Prabhupada is saying, if somebody practices bhakti, he comes to mode of goodness. That time he becomes detached and he is in knowledge. So he does not become disturbed like the adhiras who become disturbed by material miseries, material changes. He becomes dhira purush. And when he becomes dhira, he does not become disturbed by material changes. He understands material world is going to work like this only. Nothing can stop it. So therefore, he does not pray to Krishna also for okay, Krishna, please stop my death, please stop my this wrong thing. He understands Krishna is having certain desire, let it happen. I should simply focus on Sambhuti. Let me focus on that Supreme Lord and leave this material world. So this is important for the devotees. So devotees, they may feel inconvenience because material world is very uncertain to predict. Very uncertain. Kabhi bhi kuch bhi ho sakta hai. Everything is going nicely, one may die. Everything going nicely, one may start getting blasphemed, or he may start blaspheming. Everything today nicely chanted, and in the afternoon some problem happened, he started blaspheming somebody. Morning I chanted so nicely, I struggled so hard, and then in the afternoon or in the evening I was criticizing a devotee. Material things are like that. These are all material things. We have material tendencies, and so they come into spiritual life, and then we do offenses, all these things. Material world is like that. So we should pray to the Lord. I am not of this world. This all characteristics does not belong to me, but still I am suffering. Please protect me. The whole material Vedic scheme is meant to educate man in the art of attaining eternal life. People are often misguided by temporary attracting things based on sense gratification, but service rendered to the sense object is both misleading and degrading. So sense objects for service is both misleading and degrading. Sense object means this only. Rupa, rasa, gandha, sparsha, sabda. These all sense object forms. All sense objects. So which is more beautiful, which is more good to hear, which is more good to taste, which is more good for touching, soft. All these service to them, service to the body, service to these things is what? It's a misleading and degrading. Misleading means it will mislead us from ultimate goal, and degrading means it will make us animal in next life. We must therefore save ourselves from and our fellow men in the right way. There is no question of liking or disliking truth. This is very important statement. There is no question of liking or disliking truth. It is there. If we want to be saved from repeated birth and death, we must take to bhakti, and there is no compromise. For this is a matter of necessity. Prabhupada is saying, don't say that it is so tough, so much problem. I don't like this truth. It is so hard to hear such truth. But we cannot change this truth. We have to accept it. Okay. So in the diseased condition, anyone does not want to take medicine. But once we get cured, we will realize that it was the right thing, even though it took some austerity for me. Okay, so here we have ended this full part. Okay, yesterday was I am taking some little amount of extra time. Yesterday was requested by some devotee. Yes, Mukund Pad Prabhuji, that you wanted to know about OBA.
No, I haven't asked about it.
It's Jayanand Krishna Prabhu has asked about format of exam.
I
was
Jayanand
particularly
Krishna.
asking for closed book example, not the open one.
Closed book exam. Closed book exam, you have to remember and write.
Okay.
Simple. Okay.
Yeah. True. I mean, I just want to know in the particularly, it's like what is the paper? Because there are some descriptive questions which have already been given.
See, descriptive questions, when you want to solve like OBA, in general, I can tell, if you have got some template also, how you should write, that is also good. Basically, any question when it is asked, you should be knowing how I am going to solve this question. So first, write everything in short, your points, then explain those points after that, each point. And while explaining those points, you should use Prabhupada's statements, slokas. Don't you use full sloka. Use some part of the sloka, like
Okay.
which is the meaningful in your statement, what you are referring to. So that part of sloka you should write in bracket. So explain one point. And in one point, you can use many paragraphs also. And always remember that 600, 700, whatever limit is there of words, you should maintain that limit properly. This is the way. Very simple. And if some contrast has to be shown, like sambhuti or sambhuti, whatever. So then you can make a table. And before making the table, again, or you can mention which point you are contrasting, or make a 3-column in the table. Contrast what points you are contrasting, then sambhuti, asambhuti. On those points, you write the sambhuti and asambhuti, like that. It is simple thing. So, yes.
I think, Prabhu, this is what you are talking about is the open book one, correct?
Yes, open book, yes. See, closed book, now, closed book is very simple. Closed book, nothing we have to do. Closed book is directly taken from books only. Like, who is the Dhira?
Okay.
Who is the Dhira? So then we have to read the definition of Dhira and you have to write it. Closed book, there is no such thing of pattern of writing that you should write in points or you should write in descriptive. No, nothing. Closed book means whatever you have read here in books of Ishopanishads, write it down. That is closed book. Closed book का कोई rule नहीं है. Open book has a rule. How you should be right, but closed book has no rule. Because closed book are directly taken from the book only, and 70% is what is given in the questions, and 30% is asked more like from inside of the books. So there is no such law for closed book. You have to just write the answers. And yes, the law is this only: ki what is asked directly from the book, that you should remember what is given in the book, and you should write. That is closed book.
All right. Prabhu, I mean, secondly, and I'll be able to come to this BBRV and then appear for the test next Sunday. Whatever is a good time, I can come and give it, or I'm supposed to give it from the home itself.
You can discuss this thing with our coordinator here, and Yamuna Bilaspu, you can.
Okay, Prajay. I will send an email to Adhivaman.
Yes. Prabhu.
Okay, so now I have taken one extra class. So next Saturday, Sunday, we will be completing this 4 mantras. So Saturday 2 mantras and then Sunday 2 mantras. Okay. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So we'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। वैष्णव ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।